Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're doing a deep dive into, well, a pretty wild concept, digital real estate.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of sources here, articles, some research notes, all pointing at this idea of buying and selling virtual land.
And not just trading it, but what people are actually doing with it. So our mission, really, is to figure out, is this just, tech hype?
Or is it something more, something you should genuinely be looking at?
Exactly. Imagine this picture, painted by the source material. You walk into a digital coffee shop.
Right, but it's not down your street, it's in, say, Decentraland,
Hmm.
or maybe the Sandbox, these virtual worlds.
And while you're there, maybe grabbing a virtual coffee, you glance up and see a billboard, a real brand's logo on it.
That's it. That's digital real estate. Buying, selling, renting, developing.
Mm-hmm.
It's remarkably like physical property, just
Yeah.
virtual.
Yeah, okay. The sources definitely acknowledge the skepticism. People hear virtual land and think, fleeting trend, crypto bubble.
Sure, that's the natural reaction.
Yeah.
But what's compelling, and this comes straight from the research we looked at, is how it's shaping up as a serious asset class.
Yeah, attracting some pretty forward-thinking investors, developers, entrepreneurs too.
And the core idea, according to these sources, it's fascinating. Because you think digital space is infinite.
Right, let's make more.
But platforms like the Sandbox, they intentionally limit the land parcels. They have a fixed number.
Ah, so they're creating scarcity deliberately, like real land.
Exactly. And crucially, these parcels aren't just database entries. They are unique. They're sold as NFTs.
Non-fungible tokens.
Okay, which basically acts like a verifiable digital deed. You
Mm.
own that specific spot on the virtual map. It's yours, it's tradable, it's even programmable.
So if you have this limited ownable digital land,
Mhm.
what are people building? The sources mention quite a range.
Totally. We're seeing virtual nightclubs, concert venues, huge potential there. Digital shopping malls, too.
It's not just entertainment, though, is it? Sources mention things like training centers.
Yep. Training centers, virtual real estate offices, kind of meta.
Oh, yeah. Art galleries, too. Interactive games. It seems like it's mirroring real-world activity, but also maybe enhancing it.
That's a good way to put it. Replicating and potentially enhancing commercial stuff, social stuff. And it's not just hobbyists.
No, the sources point out big brands are already in. Names like Adidas, Atari.
Even Snoop Dogg. They're investing, building experiences. They see something there.
Okay, so if the big players are in, that brings us to, well, you, the listener, may be thinking, how does this apply to me?
Right. Do you need to be a giant corporation? And the sources say definitely not. There are paths for everyday users.
One clear one mentioned is flipping, buying virtual land low and selling high.
Yeah, think of it like flipping domain names back in the early internet days. Or even physical property speculation. Buy low, wait, sell.
Or maybe for more steady income, the sources talk about leasing your land out.
Absolutely. Businesses might want visibility in these metaverse platforms, so they rent your spot.
Right.
Or you could build something yourself.
Like what? A mini game.
A mini game, yeah, or maybe a small event space, an art exhibit. And then you charge people for access or for the experience.
So the basic model, kind of distilled from the sources, seems to be get land, maybe when a platform launches and it's cheaper.
Right, buy low. Then add value, build something, lease it out.
And then you either sell that improved, appreciated asset, or you hold on to it for recurring income.
Exactly. Now, it is speculative. The sources are clear on that. It's not a guaranteed thing.
Sure, high risk, potentially high reward.
But they give examples. Like early folks in the Sandbox reportedly bought plots for maybe, what, $100?
And saw them jump to like $10,000 plus during some of the peak hype cycles.
Yeah. So even with market swings, that shows the potential scale.
And you have to connect that, I think, to the bigger picture, the money flowing in from Meta, Apple, the big gaming giants.
Right, all pushing towards this broader metaverse concept. It really suggests this digital land rush might still be pretty early.
Still early days.
So here's this sort of provocative question the sources leave us with. Something for you to chew on. What's potentially more valuable long term?
Okay.
A prime spot in downtown New York? Or maybe a digital plot right next to a virtual stadium where, say, the next Travis Scott-level concert could happen, attracting millions globally.
That's a fascinating thought experiment. It reframes value completely.
It does.
Yeah.
So thinking about owning a piece of this digital world now, before it goes totally mainstream.
It could be potentially a way into a whole new kind of online income or opportunity. Definitely something worth looking into more.